Now that we've talked about why you should join Amtgard, let's talk about the barriers of entry. Every LARP has a certain set of barriers of entry for a new person to join. The first barrier of entry is gear. Luckily, Amtgard has you covered. You could walk in and have just about nothing, and they'll more than likely be able to hand you a sword and you can start playing. But when you really want to get invested, you'll want to make your own gear. And what would that cost? Well, normally the gear that you would need would be a sash. Very cheap, very simple. You could just go to your local Joann's or Walmart and cut out some fabric. It could be less than $2. You then also would probably need a sword of some shape or form. These swords can be generally made for very cheap. They can be made for $20 or less. In fact, I will leave a tutorial in the description below so that you can make your own starter boffer sword. Other gear may be a little bit complex. If you want to start out as an archer, it could be $100 to $200, which is the most expensive gear that you'll need to get started. Other starter gear could be something like spell balls that you would need for a spellcasting class. Now, spell balls, I might make a tutorial about them in the future, but spell balls can generally be very inexpensive. You can ask your local park spellcasters how they make their spell balls. It could be through rubber bands, it could be through many different various methods. If you are interested in being an archer, well, that's the most expensive starter cost for playing the game. If you start as an archer, you'll probably have to spend $100 to $200 in order to get a bow and arrows, which are quite costly. I might have an arrow making tutorial in the future so that you can make cheaper arrows and lower that barrier of entry for any starting archers out there. For other gear, you might want to look at getting a shield. Now, getting a shield is fairly easy. You can ask your local park members how they made their shields, but a shield generally is $20 to $30, if not less. So if you are looking at getting a starter gear of a shield and a sword, you could look at easily less than $50. Less than a video game. Not bad for the price of entry. If you don't want to bother making anything, there are websites where you could ask them to make things for you, or you could ask your local park mates to make you weapons and armor and anything else that you need. They'd be more than happy to do so for the right price. The next barrier of entry is your attire. Now, some LARPs require you to be completely garbed up in your character. But for Amtgard, all you need to do is come in a normal t-shirt, and that's all. Now, you will eventually want to acquire some garb, so the easiest way to do this is to take a t-shirt, cut off the sleeves, and you now have a piece of garb that you're able to use and call your own. The last barrier of entry is experience. Now, sometimes when getting started into a LARP, it's a little difficult because you're extremely new and there are these experienced people who have worked through years and years or even months and months, and you just don't have a place in this new LARP. The good news for you is that while, yes, experience does matter, a level 1 wizard should not beat a level 6 wizard, you will still be able to help. Amtgard is a team game, and you will be able to help through crafting things if you want, by doing things that are outside of combat, or in combat, you could do something extraordinarily simple. A wizard, no matter how high level they are, cannot use a shield. Therefore, you, if you are able to get a shield, can get in front of that wizard and block arrows and throwing daggers and all these other things and work as a team. You also will be able to, if you want to start as a spellcaster, be able to help your team through various spells. If you want to be a healer, you can always heal and release people in order to help out your team. You will not be better than a person who has played the game for a while, which is as it should be, but you will still be able to play the game and have quite a bit of fun. The last barrier of entry is roleplay. Now, some LARPs require you to get into character, and the truth is, not everyone is comfortable portraying another person. In Amtgard, you can portray a person as much as you want. You could walk onto the field and say that this is my character name and this is who I am, and then act as you normally would. Or you can say that this is my character name and completely personify someone else. The truth is, roleplay is up to you. There is no barrier of entry here because you honestly don't have to roleplay if you really don't want to. Those are the barriers of entry to Amtgard. Are those barriers of entry too high for you? And if so, what is the most difficult thing that you think to get into Amtgard? Are they too much to keep you away from Amtgard? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, we upload Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if you want to hear more about LARPs, Amtgard, and anything related, hit the subscribe button and ding that notification bell.